Alright, when most people turn 18, they usually buy something meaningless, like a pack of cigarettes, Playboy, you know, just something random that doesn't really mean a lot. Well, when I turned 18, the first thing I bought was a 12-gauge shotgun. I did something called exercising my Second Amendment right, and I'm here to talk to you today why we should not infringe upon the Second Amendment and those who want to practice it legally. In the United States today, the Second Amendment has been consistently infringed upon and undermined. There are a number of reasons why, but there are also a number of bills in circulation in the Senate and among states that would take guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens. Spectacle.org predicts that there are about 100 cases a day when the rights to carry a firearm are infringed upon in America. I think that is definitely a problem, it's definitely wrong, and I believe that the Second Amendment guarantees the right to bear arms. It is written down in the Constitution itself, in which our country was founded upon. And indeed, while there are indeed restrictions necessary to keep guns out of the hands of criminals, out of those who would do harm to others with them, there's simply not enough reasoning behind it to take them out of those who would do it within the law and do it responsibly. Now, first thing I'd like to talk about is firearms and saving lives. A story from American Rifleman Catalog is something that I would like to share with you. Oh. Well, never mind. Anyway, there it is. Story of Omar Medina, awakened by loud noises somewhere inside his home, went and retrieved his firearm. He shot the robber 3 times, killing him. Now, this isn't necessarily a happy ending. It never usually is when guns are involved. This proves that they can be used responsibly, and in many cases, at least once a day, there is someone responsible using one to either save himself, a family member, or hurt someone who is going to do harm onto him. Dozens are thrown into harm's way on a daily basis. The least we can do is make sure that they are able to protect themselves against that danger. Now, secondly, is what allows us to do all this, and itself is the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment says that a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, and the right of people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. You heard it themselves say it. It says it in the Constitution. You cannot legally, or should not legally, be allowed to take firearms out of the hands of American citizens. It's within the rights. It's written down. It should not be infringed upon. However, there are those who try to sneak around the literal definition of the Founding Fathers. We all heard it in our civics classes that there are those who strongly go after what it means literally, and those metaphorically, what the Founding Fathers really meant. It's hard to speculate on a document that's 200 years old. I understand this. However, the United States has already made bans on full auto firearms, some compact firearms, and how many shots you can actually hold in your shotgun. Mine should be able to hold 6, it only holds 3, so I had to take the tube out. However, which is legal. However, some of these rules make sense, such as taking full auto firearms out of circulation. It makes sense not to really allow those to be produced anymore within the United States, although you can still buy them if you are willing to pay $90,000. Although, according to the CDC.gov, accidental gun deaths are as little as 15 a year in the United States. Understand that this does not necessarily include suicides. We get that those are a different category. I'm talking about when someone buys a gun legally and then uses it on someone else. That does not occur very often. And the reason why we'll be discussing in the next section. Alright, and that is the attempts that made firearms, or attempts of bans to try to keep firearms out of the hands of our people, and why they are wrong in the United States. First off was the assault rifle ban. In the 1990s and leading up into this, there had been a large number of assault rifles imported into the United States from Russia, from Yugoslavia, and mainly from a lot of the ex-Soviet bloc nations. They had a lot of extra assault rifles, such as AK-47s, that they wanted to get rid of. Well, the Clinton administration and others put a ban on all new and manufactured firearms being brought in and produced locally within the United States. If you owned one, it was still legal to own, but you could no longer smith it, you could no longer purchase one. That was sort of, in my opinion, an attempt, and what many others say is an attempt to take law-abiding citizens, as I said, out of circulation. And keep in mind, when I say the term assault rifle, it does not mean a full auto firearm. It means a semi-auto weapon patterned after a military example. We have one of these ourselves. It's an AR-15. If you were expecting to hold up a liquor store with it or take a shootout with the cops, you'd still lose for sure. However, while that's more of a negative side to it, it's definitely within the citizen's right to responsibly own one of these weapons. There are hundreds of examples where they use them for hunting, recreational activities, Very rarely do we see these, other than gang activity, actually being brought into illegal use. Second, there are attempts to ban concealed carry permits. Concealed carry permits are different as in they allow the user who has gone through classes and actually filed a license to have one of these. It allows them to carry it within out of sight. Say if I had one, it would be in here, you wouldn't even be able to see it. If I didn't have a permit and I did that, it would be up to a felony, depending on where you are. However, there are many states that are looking to take those away permanently so that you cannot even attempt to conceal your firearm for protection reasons. And the main reason that most people have these is to protect themselves and their business. Most store owners, liquor store owners, others such, they usually carry them. They're usually allowed to by law. However, most laws have come up trying to take this away. In reality, it just puts the citizen in harm's way. Next, there are laws against the sale and possession of firearms. And the reason behind this is that law-abiding citizens, or the reason this is wrong, is that law-abiding citizens who possess and use firearms responsibly are having their freedoms restricted by abiding by the law. Every ban that a government puts into place is only actually hurting the people that they try to protect. Criminals, it has been found, get their guns illegally anyway. Every firearm, when it's sold, the serial number follows you no matter where you go. You can never get rid of it unless you sell it and the serial number is marked off to the new owner. There's no way that if you committed a crime with that serial number on there, that you are not going to be able to get caught if they find it. So, in conclusion, the attempt to take away a citizen's right to a firearm is a break in a document in which our country is based off of. It's not only legally wrong, it's also morally. If you're trying to protect someone, don't do it by taking away their key protector. If you come and try to take the guns out of the hands of those who legally own them, you'll not only lose respect, you also might lose a few more things. Thank you.